sometimes physical friends come to a gathering like this and they say, what can I do in order to achieve my goals? And we say, identify what you want and then talk about why you want it. Because we know when you think about what you want and why you want it, you're more likely to be a vibrational match to it. And then you say to us, well, Abraham, I do that much of the time, but my goals are not manifesting, some of them, as quickly as I would like them to do. What can I do to speed it up? And we say, it's an odd thing. You have to find that the way you speed up manifestation is by not noticing so much that it needs to be speeded up.
Right.
It's almost what you call a catch-22, because in the moment that you think about this thing that you want, if automatically it makes you say, what am I doing wrong, or what's taking so long, then you're right. You do have two opposing vibrations going on.
Right.
And so that's when we say, pet your cat, don't think about it so much, focus on some other things, do a little bit more that causes you to activate a vibration that feels better more of the time. But now, we're approaching things a little bit more head-on here today. And we're saying, we want to take a known or discovered vibration and leave it in a better place. And so, what words would you use to describe this feeling?
I would have to say the word would be frustration. It would be a frustrating feeling because I sense that it's there. I feel what I want around me.
We would say that it is close to frustration.
Yes.
We would call it, as we feel your vibration, discouragement, which is a little slower
different
vibration. It's a little different,
It is.
but so let's just go with our idea for a moment, and let's call it discouragement.
Okay.
Not, it vacillates, but let's call it discouragement.
That feels
so I'm
right.
discouraged that I've been making the effort.
Right, yeah.
I feel good a lot of the time.
I do. You're right.
Discouragement was a good choice, yes.
It was right. and I know I'm not that one exception in all of the universe. Or am I?
Yes, you are. You are that one. So as you are feeling discouragement, which is hard to do in the middle of all this fun, what feels a little better than discouragement? In other words, focus back on what you're discouraged about. What feels slightly better than discouragement?
Maybe frustration actually is a step above that, because
We agree.
Then I won't explain why. But yeah, I think frustration is just a little bit, it's a little bit lighter.
We agree. So focus there for just a moment, and then let's reach for something a little bit lighter still. So tell us for a moment why you feel discouraged.
Well, because I know that I'm happy. I know I live a good life.
It should be working for me. I'm doing all of the right things.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be working. I've got all my ducks in a row. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm positive much of the time. A bunch of things are going well. It ought to be working. Something's screwy with this thing.
Or it works when I go to sleep. It works in my dream state.
So now, tell us why it is frustrating. Or
because it's not clicking into place, Abraham, during the day. It's clicking into place at night, but it's not clicking into place during the daytime.
It ought to be easier.
Yeah.
I ought to be able to apply what I'm doing more effectively. What's wrong with me? Are we touching anything?
Or why isn't the universe giving it to me when I'm doing all this stuff?
Well, blame does feel better than guilt. We agree. We do agree, and so
I rarely ever feel guilty about much.
We think that is a healthier stance, in other words. But we think that within that frustration is the what should I be doing differently, and
It's true.
and what's missing? What's missing?
What am I not doing that I should be doing?
It isn't what you're not doing; it's what you are doing. In other words, it's that feeling that it ought to be easier, or that that there's something missing somewhere, or that Esther remembers her mother made this fabulous recipe. They called it in their family luscious potatoes, and it was potatoes and cheese. It had a whole bunch of ingredients, and Esther had never made it, but her mother always made it when they went. to her mother's house, and one day Esther asked for the recipe, and her mother sent the recipe, and Esther made luscious potatoes, and they were not nearly as luscious. And Esther was certain that her mother deliberately left something out of the recipe so that Esther would not make as luscious of potatoes as her mother did. And when Esther got to her mother's recipe, she found that her mother had given her the exact recipe. Why it didn't turn out the same, Esther was never able to explain, but she still holds her mother responsible. There is this feeling. It feels like when you intend for it to be a way, and when you really mean it, and when you're trying really hard, it seems that it should just be that way. And that's the point of your frustration. And so then you hear Abraham babble on and on, year after year after year after year, about everything happens in absolute response, and you are not the exception to the universe. And so your frustration is about recognizing that I must be doing something that I don't know what it is. There must be something missing for me, something that I don't understand, or something that I'm not applying. Now, we're really not, hear what's going on here. We're really not feeling around and trying to get the universe to deliver to us the secret to your success. Because we know the secret to your success. It's feeling good. What we're feeling around for are some thoughts that feel a little better than some thoughts that feel a little better, some thoughts that feel a little better